The United States Fish and Wildlife Service has proposed a 30-year permit to forgive wind farmers for the thousands of golden and bald eagle deaths resulting from collisions with turbines and towers. The proposal had previously been overturned, and wildlife conservation groups continue to challenge the measure. So as of now, there's currently a 5-year permit time frame for these wind farmers to be forgiven for the bald eagle and golden eagle deaths. It's unclear how many per year are killed because of wind turbines, but it is estimated that about 545 golden eagles die at least from collisions with vehicles or other towers and structures. So right now, the golden and bald eagles are protected under the Bald and Golden Eagle Protection Act, as well as the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, which basically makes it prohibits killing, selling, or harming eagles' nests or eggs unless you have a permit. However, with this new technology of trying to find wind energy, for example, they've run into a bit of a snag here because these, literally, the eagles have run into a snag. So the turbines can be as tall as 30-story buildings. They have blades that are like passenger jet wingspans, and the blades actually reach as many as 170 miles per hour. So it kind of creates this tornado-like vortex. So a lot of these eagles are getting hit in the meantime. So what's interesting is, for example, Save the Eagles International, they cited a 2004 study that said the California's Altamont Pass wind farm alone killed 116 eagles per year. So a lot of these conservation groups are saying that, you know, yes, of course, we want to explore this technology at the same time, at what cost? I mean, these are already endangered species, you know, and especially, you know, the eagle is such a sign of America in general. So for me, this story I found very interesting because, first of all, I guess I didn't know the extent to which this has become a problem, but it totally makes sense. At the same time, you know, there's going to be some sort of collateral damage if you're dealing with, you know, discovering these new industries. So it's almost like, what's the better of two evils? Either destroying the planet with continued fossil fuel dependence, or, you know, going through a period where we are killing eagles. I don't know what's worse, really.
Right. So, and what this measure does is what specifically? So it allows, it forgives the owners and operators from any culpability? Yeah,
so basically it forgives the deaths that could occur within a 30-year period. So the wind farmers have said that the 5-year permit, it doesn't allow enough time. We're still in the infancy of the industry or discovering this technology, and so, you know, it also hampers investment in that technology, so that's why they want to expand it to 30 years. But the way that it breaks down is, okay, so for example, there's about 143,000 bald eagles living in the United States, and according to the research, that population could sustain at least 4,200 eagle deaths and still not be considered endangered. Golden eagles have less of a population. They have 40,000, and they apparently can afford a loss of 2,000 birds. So this 30-year period, it's basically saying, like, okay, you can kill as many as 4,200 bald eagles, 2,000 golden eagles. Anything past that, you would have to pay $36,000. I'm sorry. So they pay $36,000 for the permit, but then if there's any eagles killed beyond that, then they just have to pay penalties. It's kind of this bizarre, it seems not necessarily arbitrary, but you're sort of like, how do you find that statistic that it's okay, 4,000 birds is okay?
What if you're in a, but if you're in a particularly high traffic, high bald eagle traffic area, then that seems, I mean, you have to put a quota on it, I suppose.
Right.
But it's not on an individual basis, it's just collectively. So all of the wind turbine guys have to kind of get together and say, how many have you got? How many have you got?
Right.
And then you figure out what so you aggregate your number and figure out how close you are to the ceiling.
Right. I mean,
but there's nothing you can do about it. That's the thing. I mean, I wouldn't have thought, unless they put up, you know, very large scarecrows or something to try and keep them out.
Totally.
But obviously they've thought of all of those kind of like try to be to deter those birds coming in. But from what you're saying is there's a vortex is created whereby, you know, they kind of get dragged in unwittingly.
It's not just exactly, you know, dumb eagles being like, you, and just getting hit. It is because they're so fast and they are blades, it's hard for them to avoid. But I mean, a lot of people criticize it because the reporting of these deaths is, you know, under this measure, it's going to be on placed on the industry. So it's not going to be government monitored. It's going to be based on the industry calculating these deaths and then reporting it. However, if you have a vested interest in maintaining your wind farm, you're going to either maybe underreport, or you're going to, some of that data is going to get skewed. So that's what, for example, the American Bird Conservancy has an issue with. You're like, if you're going to monitor this, it should be run by the government, not by the people that are the ones killing the birds, I suppose. Right. However, we did discover that there are certain companies out there. There's a Spanish company, there's an Israeli company that are developing non-blade wind turbines, which might be some kind of solution, because right now it seems to be the best way in order to create that wind, to have these sharp blades. But it is possible that we can find some middle ground, I suppose.
Bladeless turbines,
yeah.
right, yeah.
Right, which would be the best way. I mean, as of now, what they're developing, they seem to be about 80% as effective as just regular turbines. They are less expensive, though. So again, I think because we're so early on in, wind technology, that we kind of have to deal with what we're dealing with right now. But at the very least, hopefully, we can find some sort of middle ground where we can develop clean energy but not destroy wildlife.